Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the ball. Pyle driving his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort.
Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So I got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Hey, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving from the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, the Wolf of Roto Street himself. We're getting revved up for Thursday, Thanksgiving Day of football and food and alcohol and maybe family and friends too. I'm pretty excited about it. I got two questions for you, Wolf, before we get into the Thursday preview. First one, favorite Thanksgiving food. Second one, is this scintillating 12:30 matchup between the 0-9-1 Lions and the 3-7 Bears the most excited you've ever been for a professional football game in your life?
Answer one, I fucking love stuffing. Huge stuffing guy.
Oh, God.
My mom leaves it in for like an extra 5 to 10 minutes, a little hotter, and it gets nice and crispy too. Ooh, crispy stuffing, especially get a little sausage in there too. Huge stuffing guy. I am a big turkey fan. I think turkey's very underrated. People shit on it. Like, I don't even like turkey. Thanksgiving is the best fucking day in the entire year. I am clearly fired up beyond all belief. I'm 2 Bloody Marys in. Saw some of the boys this morning. They're at the local high school football game, but skipped out because I needed to see you, Truth, and I need to see all you guys for your sit starts. Got a smoker. I got the bird on the smoker here. Fucking loving life right now. Everything is golden, but stuffing to me is my favorite. What about you? I
mean, a really good stuffing with some gravy tossed in there to moisten it up. I love the crispy that you're talking about, but also
stuffing.
I know I'm being contradictory here, but I also love the moistness of the gravy. There's a lot of Thanksgiving foods I really, really love. I will generally have some of everything.
I was going to say, you're not contradicting, because exactly what you're saying, when it's like moist on the inside, but you got that crispy shell around it, it's just nothing better than that type of stuffing. So that's my personal favorite beyond.
I mean, now I'm just thinking about other foods that also, like, man, good mashed potatoes are so good.
Of course, it's all amazing. I don't even like green beans, but I like green bean.
No, but on Thanksgiving, I eat a bunch of green beans.
I'll just destroy it all. It's all so fucking good. And then the later in the day when you have like the toast and the turkey sandwiches and the gravy, can't get better. This is my first time ever smoking a turkey too, so I'm stoked. I got my little thermometer here. I was telling you before we got on air, if this thing shoots above 325, I might have to sprint outside and cool it off just real quick. So we'll see, Wolfpack. But obviously we are here live for you and all of your questions, your sit starts. We'll talk maybe a little DFS. I'm excited for this DraftKings slate. Hoping to win $1 million today. I got my game plan out there, but I'm stoked. And we'll preview, as always, the week, our higher, lower Hail Mary. We'll fly through that. We got till 12:30 when the game kicks off. And your second question, am I beyond thrilled? Of course I am, because DraftKings, I'm going the double stack, Andy Dalton, Darnell Mooney, Marquise, Goodwin, going to win me $1 million against the Detroit Lions. I love that barn burner. I actually, now that Jared Goff is playing, I am a little more excited. I know that seems insane for an 0-9-1 team, but if Goff's there, it's a whole different game than Boyle. Fucking Boyle. So, yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. What about you? It's football, right?
I'm excited because it's football, but as far as football goes, this is really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
As bad as it can be.
It's as bad as it can be. But let's get into some Thanksgiving news. We already got 25 questions or something like that.
Hell yeah. Look at that. Thanksgiving, the pack is here. I didn't even say it to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Like I said, best day of the year, in my opinion. Better than Christmas, better than any other holiday. My favorite day. I hope some of you guys share that sentiment, or at least have an amazing day today. Family, friends, good food. You can't beat it. And, of course, football. So let's dive on in.
Also, I've just mentioned one thing. My wife and I have already had one fight today, and it's because we were watching the Macy's Thanksgiving parade with the kids, and we got into a disagreement about whether the band Foreigner deserved to be called Legendary.
I don't know.
I said no.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know about Legendary. Legendary is a bit of an extreme. I like Foreigner, but Legendary, come on.
Legendary? Anyway,
extreme.
Just thought I'd throw that in. One fight in, and it's not even 11 a.m.
on your side. I'm sure that will help. That'll go a long way, I'm sure.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into it. Jared Goff dealing with an oblique strain injury, questionable for Thursday's game against the Bears that we have been talking about so fondly. Ian Rappaport reports that the Lions are planning to start him, though. So, that big Goff, I don't even know who you'd stack the guy with. Amon St. Brown, maybe.
Yeah, that's
intact.
exactly who. Him, Khalif Raymond, Holy Cross boy, shout it out. It's gross. Obviously, like Hawkinson and Swift are the bigger names that you could stack it with. Swift being the preferred option, but ultimately today on DraftKings, if we're talking specifically that, I like Zeke more. I like David Montgomery at 6K more. So I'm actually not getting to Swift a ton. I do think he could have a huge day, back-to-back 100-yard games. That's actually the first time since 2004 a Lion running back has gone above 100 yards in back-to-back games. Fucking insane. The guy is great. I love Swift. No problem at all if that's who you're going towards. And if you want to game stack this one like I am, it makes sense. But yeah, it certainly helps to have him instead of Tim Boyle. I don't know. Do you ever listen to Pardon My Take? I think it's a hilarious podcast. Do you ever listen to that one?
I've never listened to it.
Oh, it's a great one. But
I'm always looking for new podcasts. So
Monday recap episode. All their podcasts are great, but especially Monday recap. I know it's Barstool, and I know Barstool gets like the immature, but that podcast specifically, I fucking love. They're great. Big Cat and PMT, and they do a great talk, the recap of all the games. They were saying like Tim Boyle is like the stepfather that comes in and like wants to impress the kids, but none of them like him. I don't know why. I don't know why the connection makes sense, but to me, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a Tim Boyle, like the guy that comes in and like none of the kids want to accept him. The dad is way cooler, and they just hate this guy as he tries to pretend to be their dad. I don't know why I found that hilarious, but it's just Tim Boyle. You know,
I mean, in this analogy, that means Jared Goff is cool in some way. So I'm having a hard time,
which is tough too. Yeah,
he's like the least cool guy in the NFL.
Tough time accepting it. A lot of time on Tim Boyle. Let's continue.
All right, go ahead.
Justin Fields going to be out today, so Andy Dalton starting. He actually went for 202 in less than a half last week. I'm not saying you probably want to start him in seasonal, but for DraftKings, very intriguing play at 5,500. I know most people gravitating to Josh Allen or Dak Prescott, as you probably should. But if you want to differentiate, you want to save some money at QB and stock up on studs elsewhere, that's kind of my play for the day. I think Andy Dalton could have a sneaky decent day against a really bad defense that's given up a ton of big plays.
By the way, give us a like. We never even mentioned that. We've already had a couple nice cash stuff thrown our way. Just guys saying hi, which we always appreciate. We even got some money in pounds, not dollars.
Cheers, guys.
That's the best.
I love it.
We got some cash from across the pond. We just want to acknowledge that. Mike Duty giving us $5 also. Oh. Ryan Hemmings giving us £4.49.
You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Happy Thanksgiving to both of you and everyone else that's watching. Like I said, give us a like. Alvin Kamara, knee issue. He is still sidelined as of Wednesday's practice. Obviously, that's a huge factor for the game that's coming up.
He's officially been ruled out at this point, too. We have a couple things that have come through since this list was made. So, yeah, he's out. And then Ingram's apparently facing an uphill
Ingram
climb.
Probably not playing,
Probably not playing either. Tony Jones is 11% rostered right now, and he's looking at 20-ish touches. Yes, the Bills' defense, they are a scary defense. We also just saw Jonathan Taylor go for 5 touchdowns against him. Tony Jones is very far from Jonathan Taylor. We can't just immediately be like, oh, yeah, bad run D. He's going to score 5 touchdowns. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if he found the end zone, if he had 3 to 4 catches and had a meaningful performance. So at 4K on DraftKings and certainly in seasonal, he's going to jump up to probably, I have Ingram at running back 21. I feel like Tony Jones, like talent-wise, maybe a drop off from Ingram a little bit, but volume-wise should see even more now. I'd have him right around that running back 21 spot. So let us know if you have a Tony Jones question. My personal dilemma is Tony Jones versus Javonte Williams. Obviously, the talent is with Javonte, but stuck in a committee. I think tonight I'm going to ride Tony, get a little Thanksgiving action. We'll see how drunk I get through the day. The fact that I'm already feeling the way I am, there's a good chance Tony Jones is in my lineup tonight. Let's put it that way.
All right.
And on the next side, we got Ezekiel Elliott not on the final. Oh, wait, that's not even a news banner. But just by the way, Ezekiel Elliott's not on the injury report. The Raiders have been giving up the most points to running backs across the last couple of weeks, and just in general, the 7th most points on the season. Yes, he's got a bone bruise. It hurts. It's a pain tolerance thing, but Zeke has always been one of the tougher guys in the NFL playing through injuries. I think he's going to smash today. I'm a few spots higher on the ECR. You probably don't need me to push you to put Zeke in your lineup, but if you had any questions, should I be worried about this knee? I'm putting him right in there. I think he's getting 2 scores. I love him at 8K on DK. I think a lot of people will be fading because of the injury. I'm in. I'm all in.
All right, all you Matt Breida fans out there, don't be surprised if Thursday becomes the Matt Breida game. Bills desperately looking for somebody to be that guy. Is it going to be Matt Breida?
Maybe. He's been back-to-back.
Good answer.
We talked about him on Monday, Truth of the recap, the usage recap. He's led the team in back-to-back weeks in fantasy points. That's actually kind of interesting. He's ripped off big run after big run. And apparently when he went on, Sean McDermott, the head coach, went on the radio show, he gave a definitive, quote unquote, definitive yes when asked if Breida has earned more opportunities. So the guy, I've always loved Breida. I think he's a very intriguing speedster. And this offense could use something like that at the backfield. Clearly Singletary and definitely I think Moss is cuttable at this point. I don't want to start Breida tonight, but I think at only 9% rostered, he makes a very intriguing stash. Let's see what happens. It's a good run D against New Orleans. So again, probably not in my lineups, maybe even in DraftKings at 4,800. I prefer Tony Jones, of course, as everybody will. But still, a good way to differentiate on DraftKings and certainly an intriguing stash to have on your bench. At, again, 10% rostered heading into the games right now. I just checked. Could be intriguing because the offense is so explosive. Big one here is CeeDee Lamb. He's actually trending towards in. It seemed impossible. As of last Sunday, we're talking about guys already done for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Gallup and Cedric Wilson as potential streamers, but it seems like CeeDee Lamb could truly be trending towards in at this point. If it was Sunday, they were saying he would 100% be cleared in playing. The Thursday game does complicate things, so you obviously have to monitor it ahead of the game. But with no Amari Cooper, if he's in, the Raiders, they've had a pretty good secondary all year, but lately have been crumbling as just the whole team, including the secondary. CeeDee Lamb would be a smash play. He'd be a top 12 wide receiver, clear-cut wide receiver 1. Dak would get a nice boost. I'm actually 4 spots lower on Dak than the ECR right now. If CeeDee Lamb's in, he's going to move up at least a handful of spots there. So definitely keep tracking this one throughout the day as we get news.
Hillary says, happy Thanksgiving, Wolf and Truth. Knox tonight or Gesicki? She just threw us $5 on Sunday. I wish you could taste the kielbasa I just made. Enjoy the day with your families. I love kielbasa. I really wish I could taste the kielbasa you just made also. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Wolf, do you like Knox or Gesicki on Sunday?
I've had that kielbasa, and now I'm very jealous. It is delicious kielbasa. I'm hoping my smoked turkey can rival it, but that is delicious stuff. 2, I actually caught this question, Hillary. I said, good morning, happy Thanksgiving, love you, have a great day. Her response, good morning, Knox or Gesicki. Not even I love you, nothing else, just literally Knox or Gesicki. That's how she starts the Thanksgiving day, and then complains when I don't text her happy Thanksgiving by a certain hour. Damn it, Hills. No, I'm kidding.
She's throwing you $5, man.
Exactly. No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely. Good question. I prefer Knox myself. The ECR definitely is leaning towards Gesicki, a higher target share. But I just love Knox. He's got such a good touchdown equity. He had 8 catches last week, if I'm not mistaken, 14 PPR fantasy points. The guy's just rolling. I really love Knox. That's where I lean personally. Happy Thanksgiving, Hills. I hope the kielbasa is delicious that you just made. Of course, love you. Have a great day. Say thanks to happy Thanksgiving to your family and everybody too. I'm sure you already have. But
yeah, thanks for the support. Allen Robinson, doubtful for week 12 against the Lions, hamstring issue. The question is, you lose a guy like Allen Robinson. How are you going to replace that 3 catches for 23 yards?
Huge vacuum, right? Oh my God. But actually last week we saw Darnell Mooney get, do you know, at the top of your head, do you know how many targets Darnell Mooney had last week?
It was like 15.
16, yeah.
Okay.
You won off. How crazy is that? 16. I think he only caught 5 of them. So, I mean, that goes to show you
volume. He's a volume play.
But volume is volume. Against Detroit, giving up a ton of big plays. I have him right inside my top 25 receivers. You'd have to have some really good options, in my opinion, to have Darnell Mooney on your bench. Again, it's Andy Dalton. You never know what happens, but I actually like Dalton for the pass catchers more than Justin Fields. I think he's going to get deep. I think he's going to have a good, solid game. And I also think Goodwin, who is coming off a 15-plus point fantasy day compared on whatever your scoring is, I think he's a viable stream. Like, honestly, it's crazy. I even told Seamus as a potential guy, like, deep threat. If you're looking at just a complete Hail Mary, this is my, higher, lower Hail Mary. This would be one of my Hail Marys of the week. And at 3,800 on DraftKings, I think he is a viable play today.
Just so you know, Aiden in our chat, and I have not verified this, Aiden Dilmanian says Lamb is out today in all caps.
Oh, is that official?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the chatter in the comments, somebody's saying he's out.
Okay.
Just putting it out there.
We will we'll revisit the Lamb questions. Let me just double check.
All right.
While
we're talking about that, While we're talking about that, Tyrone Smith, ankle injury. He was not listed on the final injury report for week 12 against the Raiders. This is not really a surprise. He has been practicing in full all week. He has been out since week 8. Obviously, his return coming at a time that they could really use him. So we'll 100%. See what happens.
We saw the impact this had on their on the offense last week. It was monumental. They were getting pressured all day. Dak was under duress the entire night. This is a big switch for the running game. big boost for the passing game. Everybody, big left tackle. It's one worth mentioning for the impact. And I just wanted to, before we get on in there, I know we've talked about some of our favorite plays already, but I'd love to know, Truth, how do you see these games unfolding? What are I know I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't even prepare you for this one.
No, you sure didn't.
What do you think the scores are going to be today? Let's start with Detroit and Chicago.
This kind of seems like a 16-9, 17-9 type game.
I'm hoping.
I'm hoping I'm wrong. I hope it's like 45-42, but
I think we're going to get – I don't know if the Lions will hold up their end of the bargain. I'm telling you, I'm in on a big Dalton day today. That's at least how I'm playing my DraftKings. I know it's a very high likelihood that does not pan out, and my lineups are already toast by the end of the first game. But I'm going to roll the dice on it because it's going to be under-owned. He was slinging it last week, and Detroit's given up a ton of big plays. The fact that Jared Goff is actually playing does, I think, land some potential shootout. We've seen, they put up 30 against the Rams. I could see this turning into one of those types of games. Does Chicago have the firepower? I don't know. The reports that Nagy might be fired. I know Schefter today saying that was all completely false, but still, maybe it is his last game. The guy's going to try to at least go out slinging. At least you'd hope he has a spine.
I mean, you would hope so, but I don't know. I had very low expectations. By the way, we've got another guy in the comments saying CeeDee Lamb did not clear concussion protocol and is out today per Jay Glazer.
Okay, so that must have just because
unless these guys are just making it up, that seems legit to me.
No, two people saying it. Okay,
like it, yeah.
Right at 10:55, as we logged on, it said he's undetermined. So if he officially hasn't cleared, that is officially, Michael Gallup, a little bit of a boost. Although I feel like Michael Gallup would have been a better play as the number 2. He really struggled as soon as number 1 coverage came his way. So let me just make a quick CeeDee Lamb out per Jay Glazer.
All right.
I'm just going to make a quick banner for that. And let's just cover these implications really quick for those of you out there. I think Michael Gallup, short target upside does increase, gives him that huge monster, 10 target, 100-yard TD day upside. I personally think, though, he struggled against number 1 coverage last week. The Raiders have been pretty good against number 1 receivers. Where they've struggled is more the slot in different places. I don't know that it ends up being an actual positive for Michael Gallup. I do think it helps a guy like Cedric Wilson as a potential streamer. I know he had a couple brutal drops last week, but he'll move into the slot where he played 90% of his slot snaps last week. That's where the Raiders have been at least pretty susceptible. So I think Cedric Wilson, not a better play than Gallup. Of course, Gallup, he's going to be like my wide receiver 25-ish. Definitely a guy in your lineup contention. But if it gives you any clarity, I prefer Darnell Mooney. We have Allen Robinson officially ruled out. I'd rather have Mooney than Gallup in lineups. And I know they're very similarly priced on DraftKings too. So if it comes down to one or the other, I prefer Mooney. What do you think, Truth? Mooney versus Michael Gallup. Who would you go?
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I also prefer Mooney in this situation.
Which is crazy.
It's funny to hear you say it. I don't like Gallup at all as a number 1. I don't know. There's it's number 2, number 3. Okay. I don't know. Don't love him as the alpha guy. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see what happens. The Raiders have kind of been reeling lately. You asked me about my thoughts on these other games. I told you, Bears Lions, it could be a slap fest.
You said 16-9. I'm going 28-17. I think it's a little more than what you expect.
I hope you're right. I mean, I hate because you see a 17-9 game between the Bears and the Lions. It's not like, oh man, that was amazing defense. It's like, wow, that was two terrible offenses just slapping at each other.
Shitstorm, right. What about and anybody tuning in? I know we're going to release this as a podcast, ideally maybe tomorrow weekend. I don't know when this will come out as a pod because I know it's Thanksgiving. I'm not expecting it to be immediate turnaround here. But at some point, some people are going to be listening to this in retrospect. So you'll hear one of us is smart or just idiotic. You guys get the the Monday morning quarterback us right here. So I'm going 28-17 Bears win. You're going 16-9 Bears win, or do you think the Lions could pull the upset off?
I do think the Lions could pull the upset off, but I'm going with the Bears. I mean, if there's a game the Lions could win, it's this one.
Absolutely.
Vegas and the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a big Zeke game. I can't tell if the Raiders have tapped out or not yet. You know, they had a good start, but it kind of seems like they've come back to earth. I'm going to say like 31-20 Cowboys. Big scores for the Cowboys. I would love that many points. And I think Zeke's going in for 2 today. He's one of my, I think a lot of people will be off because he's 8K and it's like him or Diggs in a lot of lineups. And I have them both in there because I'm going Andy Dalton. That's part of why I'm going Andy Dalton. I can get Diggs and I can get Zeke. I think he's going to have a 2-touchdown day. They are so bad against the running backs right now. I'm with you. I think Cowboys roll, especially now.
Well, I guess having no CeeDee Lamb does hurt a little bit. I think they're going to score a little less than you. I'm going to go 20-24 Cowboys, and I think the Raiders are going to be I'll go, you know what? I'm going to go 24-17. I think they keep it within a touchdown. I think Waller has a pretty good day today, but ultimately they fail to live up to the hype of the early season, and the Cowboys go home happy. That's my prediction. What about the night game? You think the Bills rout the Saints, or what are your thoughts?
Route? Probably not, just because like the Bills are underachievers. I think that they absolutely should and have to win this game. So it's
a must win.
Yeah, I am going to go Bills. They've been not that impressive lately. I'll say like 27-20, something like that.
Yeah, I think I could see that. I think the defense is not nearly as impressive. They got some big injuries on the line, which has hurt Josh Allen a lot. That's kind of why, again, I'm going, not that I think Andy Dalton will outscore Josh Allen, but for $2,000
You love Andy Dalton today. You love him.
He's going to probably suck the more and more I talk about him.
Yeah, he probably is.
Again, it's the risk. I'm talking about DK tournaments, not 50-50 games, anything of that. I'm trying to win $1 million. So give me that extra 2,000. Let me get to Zeke. Let me get to Diggs and save the money. I could see Allen having an okay game on the road with a dinged up offensive line. I love the idea of like Bills fans, Bills Mafia running loose in New Orleans. Like that's just that very intriguing idea to me. The Bills Mafia going crazy. I think the Saints, though, I wouldn't be shocked if they only score one touchdown. Like I could see it being like 20-7, like a gross. I
could see that too. I could see that.
I think a lot of people expect more points in the night game than the early game. I think the early game is going to actually be a sneaky source of points, whereas the night game might underwhelm. We'll find out. Wolfpack, you might be listening to the podcast a day after, and if you're still listening to this section, God bless you. You heard what our predictions were. We'll see what happens. Let's rip through a few Sunday injuries, Truth, as we always do real quick. And then we'll get to my high or lower Hail Mary. What time is it? It's 11:14. The game doesn't kick off till 12:30, which is nice. So we still have – we can take it not leisurely. We'll rip through the news and that, but it's nice to know we don't have to sprint. We have 75 questions. I fucking love you, Wolfpack. If you haven't already, that thumbs up does really help us get out to more people. Be thankful with a thumbs up. That's all. You want to know? Already the super chats too. You guys are the best. Look at this little Thanksgiving crew we got together. 75 questions on Thanksgiving, Truth. We got to make this a tradition. We got to go live every Thanksgiving. I love it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're not going anywhere as a company, right? So I mean,
hell no, of course. Only upwards. We're only going upwards is where we're headed.
Mitch Chavez just threw us $5. Happy Thanksgiving with news on Lamb. Now, do I flex Higbee, Van Jefferson, or Wilson Jr. potentially if Mitchell is out? Full PPR.
Ooh, that's a really good one. I'd want to wait it out for Mitchell. So I don't know that Cedric Wilson's intriguing enough for me to go above like Van or I'd want to wait this one out for Mitchell. I'd like to wait it out for your namesake because I do think Van Jefferson and Cedric Wilson, similar plays. I do like Cedric Wilson today on DraftKings and things of that nature. But in terms of like costing a roster spot that might not give you a chance to play Eli Mitchell, who has been phenomenal every time he's out there, I'd rather wait this out. Him and Van Jefferson are very comparable to me, if not prefer Van Jefferson anyways. So I'd rather wait this one out, even with the Lamb news. Good question, Mitch, though. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the support, buddy.
100%.
Right. So my strategy, just so you know, for Thanksgiving is I don't eat anything. Like, I haven't eaten anything today. I'm hungry. I'm getting fired up. Like, it's going to make the meal even better. So if I see him a little belligerent or like quick to be short with you or snap
a little hangry,
probably just because I'm hungry.
I love it, Truth. I actually have the same strategy. I had a cider donut this morning just because it was there. But I won't eat anything else till we have dinner. And obviously, the PEDs, the enhancements to just make is there anything better than a high Thanksgiving dinner? Like, sorry, parents, if you're tuned in, but like just a quick little buzz. Nothing crazy, obviously. I'm not trying to be like a stone, but just a little hit before dinner just to make that gravy taste a little bit extra. Not too bad, not too shabby, in my opinion, at least. It's not legal here,
Sure.
Same as having a beer at this point, right? Cheers.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the injuries. Quarterbacks. Speaking on Wednesday, John Harbaugh told reporters that Lamar Jackson, illness, will practice today. That guy is sick a lot.
Oh, always sick. But at this point, he is expected to play. It'll be a great sight for everybody in the offense to have him back. Like Huntley, surprise win. Seemed like, I don't know if you watched his like post-game interview, seemed like the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah,
like,
I really did.
He truly was like so happy. I'm rooting for the guy. I hope he gets somewhere, sometime, just a big payday. I don't know. The guy seemed amazing. Love you, Tyler Huntley. But ultimately, I'm pumped to see him back for Marquise Brown, Rashad Bateman, all their sakes. Just a huge boost to the entire offense. Moving to running back, that's the only quarterback news we have as of now, other than the Thursday guys we talked about. Eli Mitchell was limited in practice, but as we got live, another report broke that he cannot. So Matt Burrow's reporting he took pitches and handoffs during practice, but did not catch passes and only handled the ball with his left healthy hand. I don't know if they rest him one more week to let this thing get healthier. I imagine that Jeff Wilson would get a bit more work. And obviously, as we saw last week, Deebo Samuel, huge, 10 carries for 80 yards.
I know, right?
It's even less than that. Like the best running back on their team. I truly think he could be like Alvin Kamara if you gave him those amount of carries, like 15 carries, 8 catches. Deebo Samuel will be just as good as Kamara in that type of role. He's awesome. So he gets a boost if Mitchell misses. Of course, Jeff Wilson becomes a little bit more startable. But it seems like he might be out there. His status, quote unquote, is up in the air as of right now. And that doesn't help if he only has one hand. So we will see.
Yeah, I'm hoping he plays. I need him.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur had Aaron Jones practicing, recovering from an MCL sprain on Wednesday. So supposedly he was running routes easily, looking good. If he comes back, which is certainly trending in the direction that he will, obviously A.J. Dillon is going to see a decrease in workload. What do you think about his value in a flex spot moving forward if Jones plays?
It'd be tough to trust Dillon with Jones in there. I know he was seeing a big uptick in work anyways, especially in the receiving game. He had 4 catches on a game that Jones had 0. That's surprising to me. Jones has been such a great receiver throughout his career. I don't know why and how that happened. Might have been a fluke, might have not. I'd have a hard time putting Dillon in my lineups if Jones is playing. It is a weird week where a lot of us are forcing a ton of weird things into our lineups. But at this point, I'd rather have like a Tony Jones than an A.J. Dillon in my lineup. I think it's worth burning it. Of course, if Jones doesn't play, Dillon's a top 12, top 15-ish type of play. But the way he was running his routes, he looked fully healthy. It was meant to be reported to be a 1 to 2 week injury anyways. And a lot of people speculate because they have the bye, they'll probably rest Jones. But the way he was running in some of the videos I've seen, it looked like he was 100% healthy. So I think he's going to play. I'd be a little skeptical of waiting on Dillon at this point. Of course, it could be worth it if you have good enough options. But as a comparison, with no Ingram, I'd rather have Tony Jones than A.J. Dillon with Aaron Jones in there. Just kind of give you a point of reference there. One of your guys, one of my guys, Cordero Patterson, he was limited in Wednesday's practice. Heading up to the game against the Patriots, it did seem like he was about to – he could have maybe played if it was a Sunday type of game. I think he's going to be out there. It's the Jaguars. They suck. And Cordero has been, as we talked about, like a top – what is he, RB7 in PPR points per game?
Around there, yeah.
It's unbelievable. What this guy has done for you. He's locked in the lineups. If he's in there, he's a top 12 running back or top 15 running back play for me. You'd have to have some very good options to have this guy on your bench, in my opinion.
Kareem Hunt, who's been on the IR for quite a while now, and before he was on the IR, was actually putting up very, very good numbers while in a committee. He's now coming back, supposedly. He says he's coming back against the Ravens. They have designated him to return. This muddles an already – very effective, but very crowded backfield. We've got Nick Chubb. You've got Kareem Hunt. You've got Dearness Johnson. What do you think?
I think it sends Dearness Johnson to the waiver wire. Like, there's no reason. As good as he has been, I love the guy. Every time he's going to see meaningful volume in that offense, you play him. But At this point, as his third fiddle, he won't see the field. You're not going to see him touch the field. And Kareem Hunt, remember, there was a point in the year before he got hurt, he was the running back 5 in fantasy ahead of Nick Chubb, given how productive he had been. I don't think he steps right back into that role, fresh off an injury. But we have seen a lot of these times where players get activated, they're right back into like 15, 20 touches a week. That wasn't already Kareem Hunt's role. I don't think he's going to be that far off his usual role, though. So I think that does put him right back into play against a Baltimore team that's given up the 10th most points to backs. I think he's a viable play this week, even fresh off the IR. I think a lot of people are worried when people come off the IR. I would love to know if anyone's done a study on this about like how many touches people actually get when they are fresh off it. But it doesn't seem to me like too many people have been overly limited when they come back. They're back and they're healthy and they're rolling. It seems to me that that's what's going to happen with Kareem Hunt. He could be a play for you. That's my kind of read on the situation. Do you feel any differently, or what do you?
No, I feel exactly the same way, and I feel bad about it because I do like Dearness Johnson a lot. I don't see the avenue for him being any sort of fantasy relevant guy with both those other guys healthy.
That's how I feel too. Quadre Allison, we just mentioned this guy, Allison, for the Falcons because he is, quote unquote, from Arthur Smith, earned the right for more carries. Just in addition to like Tony Jones, Matt Breida, I also think Allison, if you're looking for somebody off the waiver wire that could end up coming into some value, he out-touched Mike Davis 9-3 on Thursday night. Actually was ripping. It was a Pats game, so I watched almost every touch. Looked actually pretty good. A big guy, not anything fast, but just churns. So as a guy down the stretch, we know Cordero Patterson is the most valuable back/receiver here. This guy could end up coming into some like TD plunges down the stretch here, given that big body. Wouldn't hate adding him as a potential speculative guy. A.J. Brown, definitely a big injury. He did not practice yesterday. Rib injury and chest injury is what's going on there. Against the Patriots team that specializes in taking out your number one option, should he even play? I would be very skeptical. I have him at like wide receiver 20-ish range because it is A.J. Brown. He's so damn talented. But, there's definitely some guys, like I wouldn't bench Mooney in hopes that, A.J. Brown's playing today. I'd rather just get a guy that's in a good matchup on Thursday in there. So I am pretty skeptical of him, whether he's in or out. I don't love the play this week. So I'm cautious. I'm very cautious about A.J. Brown this week.
Has there ever been a 9-3 or 8-3 or whatever the hell their record is team that you trusted less than the Titans?
No. And a lot of it is injury based. Like they've got 17 players on the IR. That's tough. But you tough. Lose Derrick Henry, you lose, all that. No, I don't think they're going to. That's why I feel so good about my Patriots, especially this weekend and just in general. There's nobody in the AFC that is really scaring me at all right now.
Not yet. I'm waiting to see who that is. Anyway, Hollywood Brown.
Matt. That's who it is. The Patriots.
Speaking of another team that, you could stand up and take the mantle, but hasn't really. The Ravens, Marquise Brown dealing with a thigh injury, returned to practice on Wednesday. If he doesn't suffer any more setbacks with the return of Lamar as well, he should be back to his old self on the field this week.
He'd be a top 15 wide receiver for me. Again, he's had 19 PPR points in all but 3 games this year. And one of those games, he should have had 35. He had a couple drops. So ultimately really only missed 2 games. The usage has been great. I know Bateman's eaten into it a little bit lately, but he's a must play if he's in there. Sterling Shepard didn't practice after practicing in limited fashion on Friday last week. This is a little concern. Maybe he suffered a setback. He has been a dominant alpha when he's out there. A dominant isn't really even loosely. Like he's been a top 20 wide receiver all 5 games he's made it through across the last 2 years, dating back to last year. But it's sketchy if he's not playing. I do love that they fired Jason Garrett, though. How many times have we fucking complained about him and his usage of these weapons, including Kadarius Toney, who did finally see 12 targets. He only mustered 40 yards on it because they were very unproductive looks. But I love how involved he was. I love that Freddie Kitchens, baby. Remember, I feel like we could go at a time machine. We were talking about Freddie Kitchens, and it really panned out when he was the offensive coordinator. Head coach, not so much, but was a great offensive coordinator for the Browns, Baker Mayfield. They all took off under him at that late stretch. I'm just happy the Giants have anyone. Nobody could be worse than Jason Garrett.
Can I just say how bad the Giants looked in that football game on Monday night? It was I don't know. It was staggeringly bad football. It was some of the worst. I mean, it was just terrible. You couldn't even take any pleasure in anything the Bucs were doing because you're just what a shit bag of a team this is.
It's abysmal. Shit bag is kind.
That's me being nice. I haven't even had any booze this morning, although I am hungry.
Go get some booze. But I do think Kadarius Toney, a lot of people asking, can I drop this guy at this point? He's not doing anything. I'd like to wait it out and see. Does Freddie Kitchens, it's weird to think Freddie Kitchens could spark something, but he actually did really spark the Browns a couple of years ago. I'd be holding on to these talented pieces because he does still look so good when he plays. So definitely intriguing indeed.
Let me just bring up something else that's bothering me a lot. Antonio Brown was not spotted at the portion of Tampa's practice open to the team media. This is just too much for me. I mean, what is going on with this guy? He's been out since week 6. I mean, maybe, I don't know, week 6. Arian says he's making progress. Seems pretty likely he's not going to play again.
No, probably not. I don't know. We might have seen the last of him this year. We'll see.
I will be so pissed off if that is true. But anyway.
I don't think he's going to play this week. For the year, they have no reason to rush him back is essentially what it is. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win that division. We'll see. If he's out there, he'd be solid. Devonte Parker, the last guy on here, is not ready to return yet. He is out there in a ton of waivers, though. Can take up your IR spot. A lot of people Miles. My example is I had Miles Sanders in my IR. He's now active. Toss in Devonte Parker as a stash because he has the number 3 easiest wide receiver schedule across your fantasy playoffs. He's averaging over 8 targets on the year, nearly 80 yards on the year, coming off his most productive game. Him and Tua had a much better bond this year than we saw at any time last year. I think he's worth your IR spot, and he's over 30%, only 30% rostered right now. Just a guy to check out there. And last but not least, Logan Thomas did return to practice. Ricky Seals-Jones did not practice. I imagine Logan Thomas will be starting. I'm very intrigued. We'll talk about him in higher, lower Hail Mary, but one of my must-watches for sure is Logan Thomas just right back into his role because he was a top 5 tight end for a reason coming into the year. Injury has sapped that, but I do think he has some real upside. Awesome, Matt.
All right, we're getting into it. Higher, lower, Hail Mary. Give us a like if you haven't already done that. Thanks so much for the people that have hung around.
87 questions. Look at that fucking shit. We'll breeze through this. I'd say no longer than 15 minutes till we get to all your questions. It is 11:27. We have till 12:30, so we have plenty of time. But I do want to 87 questions on Thanksgiving. I'm not trying to make you guys linger. But we got our preview show we got to get through. So thank you guys so much. We'll get through this as fast as we can for you. Hopefully you don't mind it anyways. Hopefully you enjoy the higher, lower Hail Mary, and that's why you're here in the first place. But let's get on through it. Now we're almost at 90 questions. Again, love this shit, Wolfpack. Thank you guys again so much. Right. And again, that thumbs up, a free, easy way to help us out. So appreciated. Thanks again, guys.
Let's get into it. Quarterbacks. Guy, you're higher on Cam Newton going against the Dolphins. You got him as your QB7, 2 spots above the experts. Not a huge discrepancy, but you do like Cam this week.
Oh, I love Cam this week. He was our higher last week. I'm going to just keep going back to this until he's ranked as the top 8 QB. He is 26 fantasy points, the QB5 last week, even though he only threw for 189 yards. Konami upside. That's all that matters. He ultimately racked up 3 total touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 2 through the air, and now he gets a Miami team that's that much more generous, right up there with Washington in terms of points allowed. Washington's really kind of been stiff these last couple of weeks, and then he comes in and smacks them. I think he goes right into Miami. As a Pats fan, I saw last year when he had less weapons, just ran 2 touchdowns in, had a monster day. I have him above Rodgers. I love Cam Newton this week, certainly on my higher list. Easy matchup.
A couple guys you're lower on, 4 spots lower than the experts on both these guys. Dak, you got him at 9. The experts have him at 5. Taylor Heineke going against Seattle, 19. The experts have him at 15.
Yeah, Dak now confirmed with CeeDee Lamb out will stay at QB9 for me. He looked pretty lost without his weapons last week. Raiders have been, if anything, a run funnel defense. They're better against the pass than they are the run. Think we get a big Zeke day. Could we get a Dak rushing touchdown? Could Dak end up throwing in for a couple of close? Because I don't think that the Cowboys are going to struggle to put up points. My prediction on that game, though, is that that Zeke does most of the damage scoring-wise, and that Dak has like a serviceable day. But again, he's QB5 right now ahead of I'd rather have Cam Newton, as we talked about. I'd rather have Stafford, who Dak is ranked ahead of. I'd rather have Justin Herbert, who Dak is ranked ahead of. I'm just lower on him compared to who's around him. And then Taylor Heineke, a lot of people talking about him as a great stream. He would be if Russell Wilson had any kind of spine and had any type of talent. Whatever's happening right now with Russell Wilson, I don't know. Wilson should bomb the Seahawks. The Washington football team. They have the most points to QBs. I have no faith that Russell Wilson's going to do that, in which case I don't think Taylor Heineke is going to have to do a lot of work. I think it's going to be a big Gibson day. So I think my 2 lowers are kind of correlated to the fact that I think the running backs have big days in both of those games, and the QBs don't have to do a ton of damage. That's where I lean.
Yeah, I agree with you on that completely. The Seahawks, talk about a team I don't trust. We'll see what happens. Right. Hail Mary, Tyrod Taylor, 10% rostered. We've seen Tyrod be awful. We've seen him be functional and do okay, especially rushing the ball. But he's only 10% owned, and he's playing the Jets, so not worth definitely worth a shot, right?
100%. The last time we recommended him as a Hail Mary, he got 9 points, killed us. QB 24 that week. But his other starts, 24, 17 and a half, so 34-point pace, and 19 points, 2 rushing touchdowns last week. Gets a Jets team that has given up more points than anybody over these last few weeks. That defense is abysmal. The only reason they don't give a ton of points up to the QBs is because of how bad they are against running backs. But I think that plays into Tyrod Taylor's strength as a Konami type of guy. I think we get at least 1 rushing touchdown for Taylor. I think he throws for at least 1 or 2 more. I'm into it. I'm all in on him. I know he kind of spited us the last time, but I'm going back to the well. He's had a bunch of big days this year. He's don't really have a 1-down game. I'm going to bank on that again at only 10% rostered in a great matchup. I'm all about it.
Must watches. Obviously, we've talked about Lamar Jackson's return. Whether he's returning or just playing business as usual, he's always kind of must-watch football.
Yeah, he's so fun.
Mac Jones' ascension, definitely interested in that. That's kind of one of those I'm always looking at a corner of my eye as well. And then can Russ rebound? Yeah, we talked about that too. I'm definitely interested. I'm skeptical.
I'm skeptical too. If it's ever going to turn around, this will be a great telltale game. If it's going to turn around for Russ this year, it's the best matchup he could ask for. So if it doesn't happen this week, I don't know if I want to cut him cuttable, but maybe he is cuttable. If he can't get it done against the easiest matchup, that would be 3 straight bad games since he returned. I don't know that he'd be a must hold just because of his name. And then, yeah, Mac Jones is less about, fantasy and more about real life. Like, is this guy just going to continue to rise? Vrabel always has a good game plan for Belichick and his offenses. I'm very intrigued to see how these two teams match up. Real life wise, this would be a huge win. Max beat on a couple bad opponents. I mean, Cleveland was thought to be a good opponent. They really weren't. If that happens to Tennessee this week, if we blow Tennessee out, then it's like, oh, good Lord. But yeah, of course, Lamar Jackson just must watch all the time. Just want to make sure the dude's healthy and back to his usual self.
Running backs, guys you're higher than. And 2 of the 3 guys you listed are on my team, but maybe injured. So I'm assuming these rankings are if they play,
yes.
Of course. Cordero Patterson at the Jacksonville Jaguars seems like a dream matchup. Got him as your RB15. The experts only like him at 17. Miles Sanders at the Giants, running back 17, and Eli Mitchell playing the Vikings. You like him at 18.
Yeah, they're all in this kind of glup of guys that might play, might not play. And a lot of questions have come in on my DMs and on certain posts about these 3 players. So I just want everyone to know if they're in there. I love all 3 of these guys. The latest news on Mitchell, I had him as my hire before finding out he only has his left hand and he can't catch passes. That does lower the ceiling because without Hasty, this guy did run the most routes, saw his highest target share. I was thinking we might have 80% carry and 15 to 20% target share. Eli Mitchell. If you erase those catches, it's still pretty solid. It's what he's been doing all year, but it's not like I need to have this guy in my lineup. So we'll see. That's the one I feel the most skeptical about. Miles Sanders against the Giants, top 10 matchup. Giants suck against everything, including the running backs. This guy averaged nearly 6 yards per carry. I'm there. I'm into it. And then Patterson against Jacksonville. I mean, big play machine defense, big play machine player. I'm all in on that. If he's in, he's obviously locked in the lineup. Yeah. A lot of people are, questioning whether you get back in your lineup. If he's healthy, he's right in your lineup. Yeah. You can never bench this guy, in my opinion.
Lower, Lenny Fournette going at the Colts. The Colts have been interesting lately. RB19, 4 spots below the experts. Also, Damian Harris, a guy you love in general, playing against Tennessee. You got him as your RB25. Experts like him a little bit more than that. You got him 2 spots lower.
Yeah, Lenny's just I love the role. I mean, he's still at about 60 to most often 70+% of the snaps, but we are seeing Ronald Jones get more involved near the goal line, annoying in that sense. Gio Bernard's still nibbling a little receiving cheese, and now he's gone in the last 3 weeks in half PPR leagues. He's gone for 6, 13, and 10. Not awful numbers, but he's ranked consistently ahead of Patterson, consistently ahead of Sanders. I think those guys have much higher ceilings given the fact that this offense has started to become a little more of that committee that we always hate. And Indy is just, bottom 3 type of matchup. The second fewest points allowed to running backs, but a ultimate pass funnel. I think Brady has a monster day. Could he throw a touchdown to Fournette? Absolutely. Could Fournette pound one in at the stripe? Sure. But just a little lower compared to some of those other guys we talked about. And then Harris, Ramondre just looked so good that, Harris is the starter. And he's looked great too. He was churning against Atlanta. But with those two nibbling each other's cheese in one of the easiest matchups you could have, neither one scored more than 7 points. And now you get a tougher run D in Tennessee, a very weak pass defense there too. I think the Pats, it flows through Matt Jones's arm, not the running game this week. And when it already was a kind of sketchy committee and easy matchups, why would that become viable in a tougher matchup? That's kind of how I view these guys. Okay,
that's an interesting take. I would have thought Harris would do a little better, but actually your logic is hard to argue with. Hail Marys. Tony Jones, 11% owned. Matt Breida, who we talked about at length, only 9% owned. And then on Sunday, Rex Burkhead, 5% owned. Same logic as the Tyrod Hail Mary. He's going against the Jets. Why not take a stab?
All my Hail Marys coming from Houston, baby. He also, Rex Burkhead, had 18 carries his last time out. He turned him into a robust 40 yards. So yes. Nothing sexy at all, but that type of work. If you get 18 to 20 touches, no more Phillip Lindsay there against a Jets defense that's giving up over 35 fantasy points to backfields, 8 points closer to the next, above the next team. It's just one of the most historically bad run defense that we've ever seen. Even Rex Burkhead could have himself a day. I wouldn't be shocked if he put in 2 touchdowns against this pathetic team. Even David Johnson, potentially viable in lineups. The other 2 guys, I think they're great Hail Marys. They play on Thursday. So again, if you're listening to the podcast, I wanted to give at least one Sunday guy. That's Burkhead. But if you're here live with us, we got 50 of you guys, and thumbs up would mean the world. If you're here with us and you haven't already hit that, would be so appreciated. But I love Tony tonight with the fact that Ingram's going to face an uphill climb. You're looking at 20-ish touches for Tony Jones. They truly have no one else. I think it's like Damian Washington or something. I don't even know who the guy is. Dwayne Washington. It might be the next guy up. Tony J would be in line for all the receiving work, all the carries, and even in a tough matchup versus the Bills, even in a team that I don't think scores a ton of points this week, that's viable. 20 potential.
We've heard that this might be the Matt Breida game. So, you don't even need any more explanation than that.
We talked about him earlier, right? That the beat writer speculating he's taken over. He's led the team in back-to-back weeks. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that I would much rather have Breida on my roster than Zach Moss. Zach Moss is 75% rostered. Breida is 9% rostered. That should be – I don't think that Breida needs to be 75% rostered, but certainly Zach Moss does not belong on 75% of fantasy teams at this point. So those are 2 guys I don't hate at all, but if you had to wait for Sunday or you're catching the podcast, Burkhead, only 5% rostered right now would be my play.
All right. Must watch is Kareem Hunt return. We talked about that. I'm definitely interested to see how the Cleveland backfield shakes out. David Montgomery, is he back to his workhorse role? I would say yes, he probably is. Eli Mitchell, we want to know about his injury status. We've talked about him as well. Obviously, for Eli Mitchell owners, that's a big deal, but I'm actually just interested from a football standpoint as well. And finally, the Jets backfield without Michael Carter. I don't have very high hopes for the Jets backfield without Michael Carter, although I will say that I'm desperate and I picked up Tevin Coleman. So
I would say if there's one or the other, I hope you could get Ty Johnson because Tevin Coleman's just atrocious.
Listen,
the
waiver wire's bare. It's not like I'm proud of it.
Look for Burkhead. I honestly go to Burkhead over Coleman. Honestly,
okay.
If he's out there, I would go to Burkhead first. And maybe Coleman, he did see 5 carries after Carter left, where Ty Johnson only saw 1. But Johnson sees the receiving work. He's actually had a string of games where he was top 25 running back for 4 straight weeks when Mike White was just peppering the position. But that was, of course, with Mike White. So with no Mike White, with Carter out, I am intrigued to see how this plays out. Ty Johnson is my preferred if I have to actually play one. I don't hate rostering one because it's about to be a 3 or so week injury for Carter. I do think Ty Johnson could come into some value, and maybe it ends up being Coleman. I do think he's not a bad roster. I'd have a hard time starting him.
I'm not planning on starting him. I really hope I don't have to start him.
That would be pretty ugly. But yeah, Montgomery, he played 95% of snaps, all but 3 snaps last week. Now he gets a tasty matchup. He has a very tasty rest of season schedule. I want this must watch is more so, is he about to be the league winner that he was last year? I think he really could be. I think we could see 2 scores today. Very excited to see that. And then, yeah, Kareem Hunt, is he right back into the guy that was the running back 5 in fantasy? Is that the role he gets? Is he looking as good as he looked? Could be. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing those backfields for sure.
All right, let's hit wide receivers. Guy you're higher on, and a guy that just gains respect from me all the time. Deontay Johnson
Awesome.
At Cincinnati, wide receiver 8. The experts like him at 11. Also, you love Elijah Moore, as you usually do, going against Houston. Wide receiver 18 for you. The experts only like him at 24. And Brandon Ayuk, who seems to be fully back, playing against the Vikings. You like him at wide receiver 26. The experts only like him at 30.
100%. Deontay's only in here for like the very shallow leagues. Everybody else is playing this guy. But it seems to me like every week I'll get like the 8 to 10 team leagues where they ask, Deontay Johnson or DK Metcalf. I'm going to go for Deontay Johnson every single time at this point. Yeah, DK has that the big long body, the 2 touchdown upside, the sexier play. But Deontay has seen 13 targets, exactly 13 targets, 5 different times. He's seen 10 plus in all but 2 games. As sure as it gets. Him and Big Ben's rapport is incredible. So if you're in a shallower league and you're debating benching Deontay, please don't. He's unbelievable. Elijah Moore, I get a ton of questions on this week too. A lot of people worried about Zach Wilson coming back to QB. Very fair. Given the fact that since Zach Wilson went down, Elijah Moore is the number 1 receiver. Number 1, above Diggs, above Tyreek, above everybody. This is the highest scoring receiver in fantasy football since week 8. Now that Wilson comes back, is that going to cater, crash his value back down to earth? It sure could.
Probably.
It makes it a little bit riskier. Absolutely. Like I can't sit here and say very confidently that it won't, but I'm sitting here thinking Elijah Moore is just so damn talented. What he's shown these last few weeks, they finally elevated him to 80+% of the snaps for the first time last week. He rewarded them with 140 yards and a touchdown. I wish Flacco was playing because then I probably have him in my top 12 receivers. I still think, though, it's well worth the dice roll. This guy is so damn talented. What he's been doing week in and week out, even Zach Wilson, it can't crater that, in my opinion. He might. There is risk to
never
it.
Say never. We've seen Brock Osweiler destroy better receivers than Elijah Moore.
Exactly. DeAndre Hopkins. And then Brandon Ayuk, I get a ton of questions on after last week's monster performance, was a top 10 receiver in all formats. Now he gets the Vikings team. If you don't forget, they're giving up the 5th most points to wide receivers. They got destroyed by Valdez-Scantling and Devontae Adams
and everybody else on the Packers.
And everybody else every week. That's one of the more intriguing games, in my opinion. I think that's one of, if there's a game that's going to shoot out, I think that game could go nuts, especially if Eli Mitchell's out too. Like, if he's in, it doesn't really affect it too much, but if he's out and then Debo gets a little bit more backfield work, we saw Ayuk last week ascend to that clear-cut alpha that was, again, the wide receiver 3 last year behind only Adams and Tyreek Hill. That was the role he got last week with Debo moved back to the backfield a little bit more. So if Eli Mitchell's in, that much higher, wheels up even more. But even if Eli Mitchell's out, rather, sorry for the first part. But if Eli Mitchell's in, I still love the guy in a great matchup. He seems fully back, and he's fully locked in the lineups for the most part for me.
All right, we got like a million questions.
We're up to 100 now. Fuck
lower.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
Brandon Cooks going against the Jets. People think you're going to zig and you zag. We think we're going to go all Jets, but you're lower on Cooks. I mean, Cooks had just a god-awful game last week. Going against the Jets, you like him at wide receiver 28. The experts actually like him all the way up at 20. Mike Williams at Denver, always a tough matchup. You like him as your wide receiver 29. That's 8 full spots below the experts. He is such a boomer bust, and it's been mostly bust lately, so I get that pick. Also, DJ Moore, you're 8 spots below the experts on.
Yeah.
Going back to the well.
I just kind of put that on there because it's just like a weekly tradition at this point. I mean, last week he did score. What did he finish at? Let me quickly check at what receiver, because he had a touchdown, but I think he only had 30 yards to go with it.
It was like not a game that like left you wanting more, kind of.
No
pun intended.
So he was wide receiver 22 last week. That's the best. So in his last, since week 5, wide receiver 58, 38, 26, 24, 46, 53, 22. Pretty damn bad for a guy that's ranked as the wide receiver 15 this week.
I know. And his owners are sitting around like getting off on when he was wide receiver 22 that one time.
Exactly, right? That's his best week in a long time, and it wasn't even that good. So this is like, if he gets another touchdown, okay, he'll probably finish top 20. I have him at 23, which again is 22 is the highest week we've seen in 7 straight weeks. He's been outside the top 50 more often than he's been inside the top 30. Pretty sketchy. Mike Williams did have that big game, but really came on like the last play of the game. Otherwise, we were looking at the 6th straight dud. He still only had 6 targets. I'm worried, especially against a Denver secondary that is a bottom 5 matchup for wide receivers. And then Cooks, I mean, he's been great all year, but with Tyrod Taylor, he had a couple big games early. Since Tyrod's return, it's been pretty ugly. Yeah. He saw, 2 targets last week?
Yep.
Bad. Abysmal. And the Jets, as bad as they are, and I know it's kind of counterintuitive to have like Tyrod as my Hail Mary and then be lower on Cooks. But I think Tyrod is the Hail Mary because he can run it on in. I don't know that Cooks has to have a huge day for Tyrod to also have a huge day as well. So I'm a bit lower on him, given what we saw last week. He's ranked, again, top 20 wide receiver. He's had 5, 17, 9, and 3. So one good game against the Rams, which, again, wasn't with Tyrod Taylor. He's had 9 points and 3 points since he returned, and only 3 targets last week. That's sketchy. I don't love it. Not into it.
Oh, I hear you. I think that's actually pretty smart. Marquise Goodwin, Hail Mary. He's playing today. He's 1% owned. And for those of you that are not, he's playing against the Lions. So there you go. And for those of you that are not looking for somebody today, Russell Gage against Jacksonville. Intriguing. Only 16% owned.
Yeah, Gage has been alternating between like goose eggs and big games. So we'll start with Goodwin because he plays today. So again, if you're listening to the pod, this doesn't matter necessarily, but just had a huge game last week again. And now he gets a team again in the Lions that have given up more big plays than anybody. 4 catches, 104 yards, and a score last week. Dalton came out with reckless abandon. This is a speedster in every sense of the word. And I don't think Detroit has any real answers for him or Darnell Mooney. I guess I'm banking on a big day from Dalton and these weird nobody.
You really, man, this is as pro Andy Dalton as we've seen the Wolf in years. I got to tell you.
You already know that on Monday it's going to be the biggest anti-Dalton. Like, I fucking hate Andy Dalton. He is such a douchebag. Why did I?
Yeah, we're going to get like 30 comments that are like, you asshole. Like you told me to start Andy Dalton. He went 2 for 19 with 5 picks.
So here's the deal too. I'm not telling people to start him in regular season long.
You love him.
2 QB leagues, maybe he's a viable play. It's more so I'm talking about being different on DraftKings. What is the script that could lead to a big game is Dalton throwing bombs. If Dalton throws bombs, that means Darnell Mooney and maybe even Marquise Goodwin have big days, and it's contrarian to the rest of the field. That's really what I'm saying. But 2 QB leagues, I do think you can do worse than Andy Dalton. Russell Gage, meanwhile, 15, 10, and 7 in 3 of his last 4. He did have a 0-point day mixed in there, so that's the floor here. But Jacksonville, bad defense. This guy has been the number 1 wide receiver target across the last 3 games. I think he has a decent day. Certainly rather have Patterson. I do think Patterson is the number 1 in every facet. They've actually scored. Ian Hart, it's credit to a good friend of the pod here. The Falcons have scored 0 touchdowns without Cordero Patterson this year. Pretty interesting fact how crazy good he's been. But yeah, I think Gage a viable Hail Mary this year. All
right. We're at tight ends. We're going to fly through these because we got a lot of questions to answer, and you guys have been super patient. And
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Tight ends, higher on Gronk, obviously. If he's playing, you got to think he's a huge weapon. He had a decent return game before. Did not find the end zone, I don't think, but he did end up putting up maybe 15 PPR points, something like that. Going against the Colts, tight end 5. Experts only have him at 9. That seems criminally low, I have to say, if he is playing. Also, you love Knox. You also like Freiermuth. Knox, you like 3 spots above the experts. Freiermuth, 2.
Yeah, so I mean, exactly what you said with Gronk. He got into the top 10 last week without scoring a touchdown. His whole thing has been, right? Like, exactly. 15 PPR points. You love to see it. Tight end 9.5 PPR leagues. Tight end 8 in full PPR leagues. So when he's played a full game, he's been the tight end 1, 2, and 9. And without scoring last week, he still got there. That's what I love about him. He gets an indie team that's given up the 5th most points to the position, a clear-cut pass funnel. Nothing but love for Rob Gronkowski. Far too underrated. I might even bump him Kyle Pitts. Like if I had to decide between the 2, I'd probably rather have Gronk in my lineup.
Oh, me too.
This point.
I wouldn't even hesitate. I really wouldn't.
Yeah. So tight end 4. I have him at tight end 5 right now, and I'm 4 spots over the ECR. Let's move him up another spot to tight end 4 as we look. Love Knox today. I think he finds the end zone, and even if not, he's so involved. Played 90% of the snaps. Like kind of taking over Cole Beasley's role at this point. Put him in, he's ranked below Dalton Schultz. He's ranked below TJ Hawkinson. For Thanksgiving Day guys, I would go Dawson Knox. And as we said, with Hillary's question, Gesicki versus Knox, I have him 7 or 8. It's very close, but I prefer Knox in his upside today. Okay. I love him. And then Freiermuth, the 2 games that he had with no Eric Ebron, he was the tight end 1 and tight end 2. Wow. He scored 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks. He was a monster, ran over 70% of routes, saw over 20% target share with Eric Ebron off the field. And Ebron's looking at extended, potentially season-ending absence. And he's also only 50% rostered. This guy is a top 10 tight end moving forward every single week
easily.
without Ebron, 100%. Plus, as I always like to shout out, I teach with his parents, a little subtle, like personal connection, Massachusetts boy. Love that. You got to love the local guys too.
Sure.
And the fact that he's killing it the way he is.
Let's get him on the pod.
Oh yeah, we should maybe after the season. I'll do my best.
Hawkinson, guy you're lower on, going against the Bears. Surprised. I mean, you think Andy Dalton's going to put up 55 points. You'd think they'd be throwing the ball a lot to TJ Hawkinson to try to get back into the game. Tight end 11, 4 spots below the experts. Why?
Because he just hasn't been good. he had those first 2 great weeks. Tight end 3, 22 and 17 points. Looked like he was going to be the next George Kittle type of player. Since then, he has had 2 games inside the top 10. All the rest have been outside your top 12. He hasn't been a tight end 1. Again, in 6 of 8 games, he's been outside your top 12 guys. Wow. Maybe it happens against Chicago, but I'm just banking on the fact that 75% of the time, this guy has been outside your top 12. And not only outside your top 12, tight end 35, 20, 36, and 64, a goose egg not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Thanksgiving-wise, it feels like Hawkinson always scores, so maybe he does. Maybe he makes me regret this. But I've gotten some like Knox versus Hawkinson type of questions. Give me Knox every single day of the week. Give me Gronk.
Just very, very, very hard to argue with the 75% of the time he's not a starting tight end, basically, in fantasy. Right. And I think, just based on matchups aside, everything else, it's a completely sound ranking on your part. Hail Mary, Gerald Everett going against the Washington football team. He's only 22% owned. You see an opportunity here?
I mean, Not just only 2 weeks ago with Russell Wilson becoming dink and dunk Russell. He had 8 catches on 8 targets, 10 PPR points or half PPR points, 14 full PPR points. Last week didn't follow it up with a huge game, 3 catches, 37 yards, pretty meh. But, 12 targets across his last 2 games for Hail Mary type of tight ends. Like I have Kelsey. So in leagues where I have Kelsey and I need a Hail Mary, I'm going to Gerald Everett. They talked about how they want to get him more involved. They've impressed with how physical he is after the catch. I think he finds the end zone this week. And even if not, the target share has been pretty damn high these last couple that I think Gerald Everett, you could do a whole lot worse at tight end.
Must watch the Logan Thomas return. Solo Freiermuth, we talked about that, how effective he's been without Eric Ebron. And Kyle Pitts in what you call an exploitable matchup.
Yeah, so starting with Logan Thomas, again, top 5 guy in pretty much every preseason big board. Just great to see this guy back. And let's see what he does. Let's see if he can inject some real talent into the tight end position that sorely needs it. Freiermuth, so damn good whenever he's been by himself. Tight end 1, tight end 2. We already talked about that, but touchdown machine, thinks he keeps it rolling. And then, it's more about Pitts. Like, they've been putting number 1 corners and double teaming the guy. The Jags don't have that. So can this guy, this is going to be a big telltale. Like, is he actually worth starting the rest of the year? Because otherwise, teams are just putting the number 1 covers on him. They're taking him out. The Jags don't have number 1 covers. So if this guy, is ever going to be playable, it would be this top 5 tight end for me. I think he is playable this week. But the last time he was playable, he put up 20 and 20. And then it's been nothing since then, since Ridley's been gone. I'm worried that Ridley being gone has destroyed his value. This will be a telltale sign whether his value is destroyed or whether in the right matchups, he still can get you 15 to 20. We'll find out.
All right, Wolf, that's it. We're going to hit the mailbag. How many questions we got?
107 questions. I love it, Wolfpack. Thank you so much. Let us now hit. Hell yeah. What a mailbag to kick off such a big fucking Thanksgiving Day slate. 45 of you with us live. I don't know how many likes we have on YouTube, but it would be so appreciated if you guys don't mind tossing that thumbs up button. We've already been so generous. So many people already giving us the super chat.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Obviously, we'll never tell you to not do it. So anybody else that's out there that wants to support the show, show your thanks on Thanksgiving. Super chat function is one of the best ways to continue to help us grow. Not expected, not necessary, but always so appreciated.
Sure.
So thank you again. Just the fact you guys are here on your Thanksgiving, waiting for us to answer your questions. We're so fucking humbled and appreciative. Thank you guys so much. Let's dive right in to Scotland. Thanksgiving in Scotland. I love it.
Yeah.
My first question coming across the
Right.
pond.
Love it. Happy Thanksgiving. Who do I flex this week? Elijah Moore, Stevenson, Javonte, Jeff Wilson, Claypool, or Pitts? Would have been more, but the Jets QB situation is, as he puts it, disgusting.
And I still think it's more. I know it's a disgusting situation. A lot more risk tied to him now. Javonte is tempting. So is Claypool after a big day. And Pitts, of course, against Jacksonville. They're all very intriguing, Frazier. I still lean Elijah. I think he's so good. Him and Wilson had a great rapport throughout camp. I know it went south so far this year, but I'm into it. I think he's gonna be fine. I'm into Elijah Moore.
I'm absolutely going more there. You can't argue with number 1 receiver over the past 3-4 weeks, whatever. I mean, if it doesn't happen, you at least were betting on the guy that's put up the best numbers of anybody in the league
for the last 4 to 5 weeks. Exactly.
You got to go for it. Taylor Malone.
Have you cracked a beer yet? Have you cracked a beer for Thanksgiving?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
You need to. Are you out? I'm not going to force you, but I'm going to go get another beer, and I hope you join me.
Taylor Malone wants to know Mike Williams, Tony Jones, or Kadarius Toney at the flex, half PPR. Taylor, I don't know what the Wolf's going to say when he comes back from getting his beer. I'm going to say Mike Williams, even though I'm cringing as I say it. As you know, the Wolf was 8 spots lower than the experts on Mike Williams. He's still probably my pick out of this group. What do you think, Wolf?
Yeah, I heard the question as I was coming back. Tony Jones does enter the conversation if Ingram sits. I mean, we're looking at 20 touches tonight. Tough matchup, but that's a whole lot higher of a floor than Mike Williams, Aja. And it's not a great matchup. It's not Tony for me, even though the Freddie Kitchens, getting Freddie Kitchens in there could help out. Dare I say, I think it's Tony Jones if we have Ingram out tonight. I think it's Tony Jones. That's where I'm going to glean. Taylor, you have my phone number. Shoot me a text tonight as we get closer. But I think we're going to both be rolling Tony Jones together. We'll find out.
Mike Duty, happy Turkey Day. Turkey Day, boys. Happy Turkey Day.
Thank you, brother.
Mike.
Much appreciated,
Yep.
Mike Duty.
Eat powder. Happy Turkey Day, fellas. Thankful for the Wolfpack. Who do I play in my flex? Half point PPR, Hunt or Judy?
I would lean Probably Judy. Kareem Hunt first game back, I don't mind playing him at all. But Judy's been top, 10 plus points since he's returned. They kind of force feed him targets. Over 30% of the routes these last few weeks have gone to Judy in terms of target share. I'm leaning Judy. It's not a smash though. Eat powder. Come on back on Sunday. I want to see if Hunt, if we have any word on Hunt's right back to his normal role, then he might even be a better play. We'll see. Do you have any difference of opinion there, Truth?
No, and I since it's Sunday, you have the luxury of waiting just to see if there's any buzz out of camp or anything, practices and stuff like that, how much Hunt is being used and stuff like that. If he's healthy and going full tilt, I'd probably lean Hunt if I'm being honest, but I wait as long as you can to make that decision.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Agreed.
Aiden, I need to pick one QB and one flex, Wentz or Matty Ice, Breida, Kadarius Toney, or Jacoby Myers. Thank you and good luck this week.
A lot of intriguing options here. Starting with the flex, I really do like Jacoby. The number 1 points allowed to wide receiver of the Titans. They've been a little bit better these last few weeks, but still not good. Myers has finally found the end zone. He's been the main vein of this passing attack. Breida's way too up in the air. Toney, we don't even know if he's playing yet. He hasn't practiced this week. I'm leaning Myers there. The QB question's real tough. I think I went a little more. He's been a dud in back-to-back weeks. But Tampa Bay, a definite pass funnel. I have him as my QB 13. I feel pretty good about Wentz. I'm streaming him in place of Kyler Murray in a few leagues. I'm leaning there because, Matty Ryan, talking about Wentz being a dud the last couple of weeks, Matt Ryan has 3 and 4 points. QB 33. Somehow he was a starting QB and still outside the top 32 QBs.
That's really impressive.
I don't even know how you do that. QB 33 and 29. Could he rebound against Jacksonville? Absolutely. He had a few good games ahead of that. But for the two guys both coming off back-to-back duds, I have more faith in Carson Wentz getting it together. Do you feel any differently?
No, I would definitely go with Wentz.
There we go.
Mike Duty, can I trust Hawk today? We actually just talked about Hawkinson a little bit. Full point PPR, other choices, Gesicki. I'm playing Swift. I hate to load up on lines. I totally can understand that, Mike.
If there's 2 lines to load up on, it is Swift the number 1, and you don't let that really impact anything else. Swift is a top 10 running back play every week. I would much rather, whether you had Swift or not, I already have Gesicki higher. In this type of situation, I certainly have him higher. So I would go Gesicki here. No doubt about it, Mike Duty.
Fatty Mateo, happy Turkey Day, Wolf. I need a full PPR flex. I'm a decent favorite this week. Mooney today or wait for Hunt. If I wait for Hunt and he doesn't play, I have Ty Johnson, Jeff Wilson, Beasley, and Toney.
Not the best of options to wait it out for because you don't know what's going to happen with Wilson if he plays. Beasley's playing tonight, so Beasley's out of the question. I love Mooney today. I do. The thing we always caution, though, is I would put Mooney in your wide receiver spot or somewhere else rather than your flex because you never know who might get COVID or whatever happens. You want to keep that flex eligibility. So I'd get Mooney in there. I love Mooney today. And then I'd probably put Hunt into the flex anyways later on, but that's when we can kind of play it out and see what happens. Get Mooney in there today, but I'd say put him in your wide receiver spot so you don't burn the flex.
And Fatty also says, Taylor Malone, you really don't know if you should start Mike Williams or Tony Jones? LOL, WTF.
Well, and I think he's like Mike Williams is a smash, right? Well, I think Tony Jones with 20-plus touches tonight might even be a better play. So you know what, Fatty? I think you're a little too high on him. And we got a super chat we got to jump to. Thank you so much.
Recall, Fatty, I leaned Williams.
Yeah, and we love you, Fatty. One of the OGs here.
And I haven't had any alcohol today, whereas the Wolves,
I think it's
Wolves 4 drinks in, so we'll see.
This is number 4 right here, no doubt about it. For
Fantasy football gave us $5. Lamb out, play Gallup. Also, start Mike Williams versus the tough Denver D.
If it's one or the other, I prefer Gallup over Mike. I don't know exactly what options are, but I have Gallup at a top 25 receiver. We talked about it earlier. We are both a little skeptical of Gallup's ability to be the true number 1, to handle alpha number 1 coverage, those type of things. I also do think with Zeke killing him on the ground, that might open things up for Gallup if he is the alpha. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he scores. So in most cases, I am definitely playing with Lamb out, Michael Gallup. Mike Williams is up in the air. Depends on who your other options are. So we appreciate the support so much. I'd love to give you a more in-depth answer for Mike Williams. Who's the other option? If it's one of these two, I go Gallup myself. What are your thoughts?
Okay. I agree. If it's one of these two, I'm going to go Gallup, although I'm wincing kind of as I do it because I'm not a huge Gallup believer. Obviously, with Lamb out, opens the door for him to do a lot more. I don't love Williams against Denver, but, Williams is a guy that could put up 25 or 30, and then you just be like, why didn't I start this guy? So
Yep.
I get why you're struggling with it. Bill Jiggs jumping in off the top rope.
Bill Jagir with a big super chat. Hell yeah. What do we got here?
Bill says, how much cash has to hit the super chat for Wolf to take Hillary out for some well-deserved margaritas, listening to him talk about target hogs every night for 5 straight months? Appreciate you guys. I'd say $9.99, Bill.
Perfect price. Bill, this is actually a pretty well-timed super chat. On Tuesday, I did my my rankings or my waiver wire show an hour earlier, and then me and Hills went out for margaritas to the Howling Wolf, got queso con carne, got tacos off the Heezy. We went to trivia, just the two of us. First place. The announcer even saw us and announced in their triumphant return. Our trivia name's the Girthquakes. The Girthquakes, the triumphant return. So very well-timed question, Bill Jagir. It has been about 3 months since I was able to take Hills out on a weekday. We do go on the weekends quite often. But she is very, very well-deserved. We had an awesome night before she headed back to Connecticut for the Thanksgiving holiday. So, Bill, very well-timed. So appreciated for this. I'll take her out again just on your dollar here. But we got exactly what you just said. Margaritas, tacos, queso, one trivia. It was a great day. But appreciate the support,
Yeah,
Bill.
thanks, man.
I'm sure we might run into you in the Jagirs later tonight, or certainly, Nat, we have a great Friday tradition where all the cousins, a lot of the female cousins go Black Friday shopping, but all the husbands and boyfriends, we go to the Anchor where I was this morning. It's probably why I'm so lubed up right now. Big stiff drinks, big breakfast, and we play drinking games in the backyard. The loser has to wear this Ariel costume, which is like a bra and like it's a mermaid. So the stomach's exposed. Sure. They have to go out and we do a bar crawl after all these drinks in the backyard. And the loser has to wear this Ariel costume out. Sam Dracoff, my younger brother, is due for the Ariel this coming year. So I'm very pumped about it.
Wolf does
Weird traditions. Right. Had to shout them all out. But Bill Jagir, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And yes, we will definitely go get some more margaritas on this dollar. Thank you. Where were we?
We were at Taylor, Fatty Mateo. I guess the better question is Bateman against Tony Jones. Okay, that's fair.
That is better. I'd rather have Williams than Bateman. So now we're deciding between Bateman and Tony. I do like Tony today.
Lumen says, should we start Mark Ingram? Uphill battle? Probably not.
If he's in, though.
If he's in, yeah.
But he's in, of course. He's seen 20-plus touches. He's seen 85% of the snaps. Yes, if he's in, he's been a great play. So, yes. If he's out, then, of course, obviously not. So, you got to track it. You got to check that news.
Denny Jennings, happy Thanksgiving, Wolfpack. Happy Thanksgiving, Denny.
Well.
Giuseppe, happy Turkey Day, my guys.
Oops.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. Wolf, go
Turkey
ahead.
Day. Happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. To the guy, I love this one from David Campanile. What a nice one to say.
Happy Thanksgiving to the guys at RSJ and the ladies behind them. I will say, honestly, if not for the ladies behind me, my life would be a lot different. So definitely cheers to her.
If it wasn't for Hills being the most supportive person out there, very rare to find someone, truth, Thanksgiving that would let me and you go live as long as we are right now. And
I know, and here we are.
Fantasy football on Thanksgiving, where we should be doing a million other things and helping out. We have the best. We're very lucky. Obviously, I know Anna, and she's the best, and Hills is the best. So you guys will have to meet her soon.
I desperately want to. She seems awesome.
David, we're very appreciative of you being here, and yes, the woman in our lives. Great comment indeed, for sure.
Mahmoud, happy Thanksgiving, fellas. Thanks always for the help. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support, bud. You've always been there for us too, so we really appreciate you.
He shows up all the time. And now he's coming in with a super chat. You're a legend. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, Mahmoud. And thanks for always being here. You're always a great person. You always interact with everybody else in the comments. You're the legend. You are a legend. Right. Indeed.
Giuseppe, Mitchell or A.J. Dillon? Aaron Jones is now practicing half-point PPR.
It's a pretty easy one for me. If Aaron Jones plays, it's Mitchell, assuming Mitchell plays.
Right.
If Aaron Jones is out, it's Dillon, no matter what.
Right. So you could end up with a pretty bad situation there if Jones plays and Mitchell doesn't. But yeah. I agree with the Wolves ranking on that, definitely.
I guess that question becomes, if that is your situation, who's next man up? Because I don't even hate Dillon there. I imagine they might take it a little easy on Jones, who, again, was the best receiver there. It's not an awful play if it's down to Dillon there, but it wouldn't be great if Mitchell's out, Jones is playing. That's not the best. So let us know there. We forgot to ask you. We got 50 people live with us. Love it. You guys are the best. But if you haven't already, that thumbs up does help us get out to more people. Of course, all you guys throwing these super chats greatly, greatly helps as well. The support on Thanksgiving has been incredible. We're so pumped to be here. We're here for you, and we're so happy to see you guys here for us. And of course, seeing a lot of new names out there too. If you haven't already subscribed, we're trying to push for that 2K before November. We're about 100 away, so it's a big goal at this point. Can we get 100 in a week or two? I don't know. But, share us out with anybody else that you're not facing. Help us continue to grow. And if you're here live and you haven't already subbed, please consider subbing, hitting that bell, and helping us hit our goals and continue to grow Wolfpack to the moon, baby. As Denny Jennings says, football, food, family,
fantasy. Perfect. All right, Wolf, we're still 23 minutes from kickoff. We have a million questions to go. So we got to start.
All right, we got to pick it up a little bit. I hear you.
Robert Moreno giving us some cool emojis. Justin Vetter, happy Thanksgiving, gents. Full PPR, Cooks, Ayuk, or Gallup?
I lean Ayuk. I have him higher than all these guys. Gallup versus Ayuk's really close with no Lamb, but I'm going Ayuk. What do you think?
I agree. Katie Jiggs, happy Thanksgiving. Not feeling thankful for my RB2 situation. Yeah, this was an issue for her last week, I think. Need one of these guys, full PPR. Pollard, Boston Scott, or DJ Dallas?
I'm leaning Boston Scott with no Jordan Howard this week on an offense that's going over 30 rushing carries 4 straight weeks. I think Miles Sanders is clearly the guy there, but Scott will be involved as well and certainly has some receiving upside in full PPR. Pollard's not far off for me, though, with Zeke a little banged up. What are you feeling, Truth?
I agree with you, although Pollard is probably the guy that I would lean towards just because, I don't know, I'm nervous about Boston Scott, but I understand why you're saying it.
Yeah, Scott is no guarantee by any means. I lean Scott, but Jiggs, if you want to get some Thanksgiving action day, Katie, Pollard, I have them literally one and right next to each other in my rankings. It's very close. I do lean Scott. I think he might be a little bit safer. But man, Pollard's ceiling, if Zeke got re-aggravated or had to step out, it would be. I actually, now I'm looking at the rankings. I have Pollard 30 and Boston Scott 31. So I might have to adjust my rankings to reflect what I'm actually saying here. I do think I prefer Scott in a full PPR though. That's where I'm leaning.
All right, Giuseppe, pick 2, Hunter Renfrow, Van Jefferson, or Jacoby Myers, half-point PPR. So who you sitting in that group?
I'm benching Van. I like Renfrow okay today, and I love Jacoby against Tennessee, so I'm going to sit Van.
Patrick Sullivan, happy Thanksgiving, dudes, half-point PPR, Van Jefferson, Rashad Bateman, or MVS?
I'm going to – if it's only one, I'm leaning Bateman. If it's 2, I'm benching MVS here.
Dave says full PPR, running back, pick 2, Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard, Jeff Wilson, bust last week. J-Rob, or roll the dice on Tony Jones?
So if Ingram's out, I'm going to roll those dice on Tony Jones. Actually, no. You know what? You got Aaron Jones likely playing. You got J-Rob against Atlanta. I would not take up a spot with Tony Jones today. I would wait for Aaron Jones. Should he be out, then you have because Pollard would already be gone. Oh, man, this does get a little tricky because Pollard would be gone. Then you're going to Jeff Wilson, who might have Eli Mitchell back, which would be useless. This does get ugly. I wouldn't play Pollard early. I would see if we get any news on Aaron Jones today. But obviously it's Aaron Jones and it's J-Rob if all things are equal and considered. That's where I lean. Jeff Wilson could be ugly if there's no Eli Mitchell, but I'd probably wait this one out. I don't know if it's worth burning the spot.
Dunny Jennings, pick 1, banged up, Ingram, Landry, or Devonte Smith. Thanks, boys. Also, is Tony Jones worth a pickup and play? We've talked about Jones a lot. But answer the first one.
Yeah, so if Ingram is out, then Jones is, I think, above any of the options you listed. If Ingram's in, Ingram's the top option. So I'm going Saints running back as the answer here. If you didn't want to risk those, I think Devonta Smith clearly ahead of Landry as the other option.
All right, we're 20 minutes to kick off. Everyone give us a like if you haven't already. Katie Jiggs, full PPR, pick 2. Lamb, he's out. Mike Williams, Bateman, or MVS?
So Lamb, as you said, is already out. So I would bench Scantling here. I'd bench Valdez Scantling here. Drink up, boys. That's from our resident drinker here, Denny Jennings. I love it. Thanks.
He's probably drinking Jägermeister, right?
Yeah, exactly. For your super chat, CeeDee Lamb officially ruled out. Happy Thanksgiving. Smoking more than just the turkey today, boys. Indeed. No doubt about that.
Isn't Mike in California?
It's starting to come in through the fucking the windows here. My God, it smells so good, Truth. I cannot fucking wait to have this bird. Wrapping it up with some butter, and I can't wait. We'll hang up. All right, let's continue on.
Adrian, hey guys, I have Debo, so pick 2. DK Metcalf, Mike Williams, or Elijah Moore. Thanks.
Debo, as you said, 100% the lock. I'm going to bench Williams here. DK versus Williams, kind of boom versus bust matchups. But I like DK against Washington. There's nobody that should be able to cover him. So I'm benching Mike Williams, Adrian. Thanks for being here.
Jimmy Pop, Dak or Cam, Javonte, Patterson, Stevenson, pick 2.
With no Lamb, I'm actually going to go Cam here. And I know I'm very against the ECR there, but I personally prefer Cam. And then I go Patterson of these running backs. So you got to pick two. So I'm going to go Patterson and Javonte myself.
Okay. We already had that question. But
yeah, as long as he plays, yes. But thank you,
happy
Mitch.
Thanksgiving for Mitch. David says, full PPR, wide receiver, pick two, Bateman, Goodwin, Traquan Smith, MVS, DPJ, or Beckham.
I'm going to go, this is a good one. I'll go Bateman, and it becomes a Hail Mary from there.
Well, yeah. It's Bateman, and I don't know.
They're all – what's annoying about this question, David, is all of the guys you list are like deep ball or bust. At least one of them is definitely going to catch a deep ball touchdown. I don't fucking know which one it's going to be. If gun to my head, I'd probably go for MVS here, but I don't know. What do you think, Truth?
Well, I would probably gun to my head also say MVS, except you've been blowing so much smoke off this Bears passing attack today. Part of me is kind of starting to lean towards Goodwin just because all your propaganda.
Depends how much smoke you've been blowing. But yeah, Goodwin really does have blow-ups upside if you want to give yourself some appeal here, David. But it's also zero catch. Like Goodwin could do literally nothing today. I probably wouldn't burn that on myself. I'd go Bateman and MVS.
Okay,
Happy Thanksgiving, Jimmy Pop. Thanks for being here.
My second favorite holiday behind the 4th of July. I love it.
I do love the 4th, too. That's, I think, my third favorite. But Thanksgiving, my number one, baby.
Seamus, happy Thanksgiving, boys. I need one wide receiver and one flex. Gibson, Pollard, Jefferson, Westbrook, Robbie Anderson, Ty Johnson. Hashtag dance teacher domination.
I got to get in Gibson for the flex. And then, I mean, Van versus – we get a receiver out of here. I'm going to go Van Jefferson. I don't love any of the really other options like Nick Westbrook's Anderson, boomer bust. Give me Van Jefferson, best quarterback there.
Yep.
Horner is not legendary. 1 to 2 steps below it.
I agree with that assessment completely. Thank you.
Great
so now
assessment.
I got a bunch more people on my side now. Dave says standard tight end, pick one. Hawkinson or Freiermuth.
I'm going Freiermuth there. I'm absolutely going Freiermuth, no doubt about it. I have to text somebody that big important text about Freiermuth for a talk.
Denny Jennings needs a defense. Lions, Jags, Bears, Rams. Pathetic. I know you don't like defense questions, Wolf. Please help. It's more that he doesn't like rest of the season defense questions, Denny. So who do you like? The Lions, the Jags, the Bears, or the Rams today, Wolf? Or not today?
I go Bears.
Week.
I go Bears. I don't like the matchup against Green Bay. I'm going Bears, definitely. And I appreciate you acknowledging the defense question. But yeah, I'll go Bears. I think they have a great matchup against Goff, no doubt about it. Thanks again, Mike Duty. Really appreciate the support.
Ryan Hemmings, who also threw us some support. Pick 2 PPR running backs, Javonte, Wilson, Harris, Stevenson, Sanders. Who do you like? 2 of those guys, PPR.
And thank you again. Yeah, I know Ryan sent us some pounds. I go Miles Sanders. Love Miles Sanders this week. And then I think I'm going Javonte over the other options is where I lean, Ryan. And thanks again for the support. Really appreciate it.
Denny Jennings, cheers, Wolf and Truth. My wife just yelled at me for watching this and not helping out. WTF.
I love it. I love it, Denny. That's awesome.
Fant, Freiermuth, or Komet, PPR?
I'm going to go Freiermuth. I'm huge into Freiermuth this week. I love them coming up this week. Thanks again, Hills, for the support. We really appreciate it and love you. Let's continue forward. Happy Thanksgiving, Mike and Jimmy Pop. Undetermined. Right. And then, yeah, we know he's ruled out at this point.
Yeah. Johnny Lau, I don't know what's worse, having to eat my girlfriend's ambrosia salad or watching the noon game. By the way, Boston is legendary. Happy Thanksgiving, gents. Thanks, bud.
Boston is legendary. Hell yeah, brother. Love the good masshole with us here and ambrosia salad.
Mike Clay.
I love that comment from Johnny Lau. You guys are so fucking funny.
We got 15 minutes, Wolf. 15 minutes, and we're an hour behind on comments. So you're going to have to really earn your keep here, bud.
Is it time for the rapid fire?
I mean, we're getting there. We can't elaborate on every question because we got like a lot.
Alrighty, fuck it. Here
Mike
we go,
Clay.
Truth.
Tony Jones or Coleman?
Tony Jones, as long as he's the starter, no doubt about it for me.
What 2 would you start? Hunt, Ingram, or Devonte Freeman?
I love Devonta Freeman, been such a high floor guy. If Ingram's in, I go him as well, but obviously the answer can be made for you with no Ingram.
We got Zeke and Pollard. I was worried who to start. It appears now I don't have to be. All right, good. Love it when it's easy.
You're going Zeke all day. CeeDee already ruled out. And then we got Billy Jaguar already supporting us. Much appreciated.
Full PPR. I need running back and flex. Melvin, Harris, Jones, Judy, Ayuk. Happy Thanksgiving.
I would go Ayuk in the flex and running back. Dare I say Jones if he's the only guy? And if not, then I'm going to go Melvin Gordon ahead of Damian Harris if Ingram plays. And we got a super chat from our guy Bulldog here. And this is a good way. 15 minutes left. I actually don't know that we usually get to every question.
No, we're definitely
I guess we got a little lax thinking we had all the time in the world. My bad.
Bulldog.
But you want a guaranteed answer. Super chat's the way. Thank you,
Bulldog. Thanks as always, guys. Now that CeeDee is out, start Cedric Wilson over Bateman. Also, Tony Jones, Devontae Freeman, or Javonte Williams PPR.
I'm going to go Bateman over Cedric. I actually love Cedric in DraftKings. I do think he might score today, but I'm very skeptical in regular season. I love Bateman against Cleveland. I think he has a big day. So I'm going to go Bateman over Wilson. And then I'm dealing with the same exact question, Bulldog. Tony Jones versus Javonte. Like, I have the same question myself. Gun to my head right now, I think I'm going to go Tony if he is the guy tonight. I think he's going to get 20-plus touches, and even if it's a tough matchup, I think that's usually worth it. Devonta Freeman has also been a very high floor, and now with Lamar back, would be even higher. Alrighty, Truth. I'm going to fucking rip some rapid fire here. Non-PPR, Javonte, Ramondre, Schultz, and Cordero or Bateman. Cordero, number one. You need another one, Ryan, and I'm going to go Javonte of those options in non-PPR. Singletary and Breida. I would go Breida. I wouldn't want to start any of them, John, but I'd go Breida. Dak or Cam. Gun to my head, I have Cam higher. I really do with no CeeDee Lamb. Javonte, Patterson, and Javonte there. You already know I love you. Thank you, Hills. I love you too. What three would you start? Cooks, Gallup, Jefferson, Renfro. I would go. I'm going to bench one. I'm going to bench Van Jefferson there.
Really?
Unless it's Justin Jefferson. If it's Justin Jefferson, you wouldn't be asking it. You guys are the best. Thank you, Lee. You're the best for being here. Thank you. Pollard, Tony Jones with no Ingram, Judy, Jacoby Myers. I go Tony Jones and I go Judy there. This is important. Indeed it is. Lamb is out. Thank you, Aiden. CD is out. Jay Glazer. Yeah, he's out. Thank you. Kareem Hunt this week or Collins and hopes onto Zach. I would go Kareem Hunt over Alex Collins. Benny T tossed us $5, but didn't have a question attached.
Yeah, he said before that, he said, "Happy Turkey Day, boys. Have a beer for me."
Oh, well, cheers. I've already had 4 for you. So I'll certainly drink another 1 or 2 for you. Let me just find where
Juke Collier also just threw us $5 and he has a question under it. Gallup, Ayuk, or Bateman?
Gallup, Ayuk, or Bateman for Juke Collier. I'd go Ayuk there. I have Ayuk just a little higher than Gallup, but Gallup is very close. Most people would have Gallup higher. I personally have Ayuk. I really am very high after these last couple of weeks on what Ayuk has been doing. And he gets such an easy matchup. Minnesota giving up the 3rd most points to wide receivers. I absolutely love that one.
Thanks for the support, guys. Seriously.
Thank you so much for the support. Yeah, more importantly, and any answer is thank you guys so much. Have Hilliard drop Foreman for Jeff Wilson. Yes, I would do that just in case Eli Mitchell remains out. CeeDee Lamb is out. Thank you again, guys, for commenting in that. Sarno, of course, happy Thanksgiving. Of course, thanks you too, man. Happy BR, need one. Higgins, Deontay. I'm going Deontay, no doubt about it. That's kind of why we have Deontay on the higher. For people that ask questions about him, lock in Deontay. I'm not even going to look. Montgomery being another option does actually make that. It becomes Deontay or Montgomery. That actually becomes pretty tough because I love Montgomery today. I'm going to go Deontay over Montgomery very slightly. Truth, what do you think?
I agree slightly.
Very slightly. I think Montgomery does have like 1 to 2 TD upside at least today.
Yeah.
Moore, Mooney, Renfro, Judy. If it's only 1, it's more. If it's 2, it's Moore and Mooney. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Trey. Judy, Mooney, Gallup, or Devontae Smith. You got to bench one. I am benching, dare I say, Judy here. Comes down to Judy or Devontae Smith. I'm going to play both the Thanksgiving guys day today, though, Trey. And then we figure it out on Sunday for the other ones.
Give us a like while the Wolf does this tap dance, people.
Thank you so much. Yeah, likes and new names. I'm seeing tons of new names here. If you haven't already subbed and hit the bell, it'd be so appreciated as we try to get to 2K. CD out, Bateman, Tony, or Cedric Wilson. I'm going to go Bateman there with Lamar back. Thanks again, Mitch. Really appreciate your super chat, buddy.
Yep.
Matt Feeney. Gross choices. Collins, Foreman. Yeah, these are gross. Breida, Logan Thomas. Honestly, if Logan Thomas is playing, I think it's him. I'm going to go, I think Alex Call. Fuck. It's not Foreman. Foreman's like distant on this. Maybe Breida tonight, Matt Feeney, but I'd probably go Logan Thomas. We will see. Predictions, 0-0 tie, 21-10 and 31-30. Big shootout tonight from Denny Jennings. I just want points, so I'd be into that. Jacob Beatty, great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, brother. Much appreciated. Jefferson, Chase, Diggs, and Allen. Who should I sit? I would, holy fuck. I would sit Keenan Allen, and I can't believe that. Like, how that's even a question, but damn. Dak or J Herb, I'm going Herbert there, George Lou, Bateman, Cedric, Freeman, Tony Jones if Ingram is out. I go Tony Jones over I go Devonta Freeman, actually. Yeah, that's where I go, Devonta Freeman. Rob Gronkowski or Mike Gesicki. Rob Gronkowski all day. Love Gronk this week. Renfro, Dallas, T. Higgins versus Pittsburgh. I go T. Higgins. I know he had a subpar week, but T is a beast. Hunter Henry or Darnell Mooney. I'm going Darnell Mooney even in full. High Wolves from Chris Jason. Who's this Chris Jason figure? I don't even know who he is. White Russians are the play today. I already had 2 bloodies, so I don't know about that. Bloody Marys are the OBJ of brunch drinks. Fuck off. Bloody Marys are great drinks. 101 brunch drink of choice is a Bloody Mary. You are wrong. It's not the OBJ at all. It is the fucking Christian McCaffrey of drinks. So delicious.
Oh, wow.
What's your 101 brunch drink, Truth?
I mean, I hate to just agree with you, but yeah, Bloody Marys.
You go Bloody over White Russian?
I do.
There
I
we
love
go.
a good Bloody
I do
Mary.
love like an Irish coffee too to fire up all the systems, but Bloody Marys all day. You have Hollywood. I love Hollywood. I don't remember.
By the way, Jay Glazer just reported Mark Ingram will not be playing tonight.
All righty, Tony Jones, fire it up, baby. Love Tony Jones week. Here we are. Tony Jones, running back 22. I'm looking at my rankings right now. Running back 22, above a lot of people. A lot of the Tony Jones questions we already got. Probably need to reconsider some of them. I love Tony Jones tonight with 20-plus touches coming his way. Thought this was a sit start? Yeah, it is, you fucking asshole. Jimmy Pop, no, I'm kidding. Thanks for being here. We always do our own thing and then get to your sit starts because we have to also give our own opinions too. Full PPR. Tony Jones over Murray. I would go Tony Jones over Murray, no doubt about it. A.J. Brown, Landry, Cedric Wilson, Ty Johnson. I mean, if A.J. Brown plays, he's clearly above any of these other options. I wouldn't play Cedric today and risk not having him. Running through news and thank you. Yeah. So CJ was answering. CJ is paying attention and answering Jimmy Pop. Yeah, we always do the news in our week 12 preview, and then we hit it. So thanks for being here, Jimmy Pop. And hopefully you didn't mind the preview, and hopefully you got your question in time. Ty Johnson, Freeman, or Drake? Freeman for me. I like Devonta Freeman. He's been killing it lately. He had 22 touches to 12 compared to Murray. Drake, Johnson, Freiermuth, Knox, Sanders. I actually go Knox here. I love Knox tonight. Freiermuth is right behind him, though. Go Wilson, maybe. Thanksgiving, pick 5. 2. I can't do that, Anthony. Too much. Sorry. That's too much.
He can't do that. He's 5 drinks in, man.
Yeah, 5 drinks in. We have 5 minutes till kickoff. Like, I can't do 5. Give me the 1 or 2 you really – I look at it like you ask Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor in there. Come on. It comes down to you're playing – I'll give you the answer because you're new, Anthony. You better sub and like this if you haven't already. Dalvin, Jonathan Taylor, locks. Mixon, lock. Deontay Johnson, lock. Mike Evans. Oh, no, Diggs, lock. So those 5 right there. Cook, Taylor, Deontay Johnson, Diggs, and Mixon. No doubt about it. Now like and sub. Dak or Newton? I've gotten that a few times. I'm going Newton, though. I really like Newton. I got Bateman, Ayuk, OBJ, Emore, and Gallup, pick 2. Elijah Moore and Ayuk for me. Cook, Swift, Demont. Take up my running back flex. You're benching Demont there. I love the other 2 too much. They're both great. Demont versus Swift is actually really tough, but we'll talk. TJ or Goddard. I'm going Goddard there. Loaded at running back. I don't know what's happening.
He said, "What's up, Gronk?" to me. I appreciated that.
I do appreciate that. Lamb is out indeed. Take CD out of your ranking. I will take CD out of the rankings. Thank you, Mike Clay. Gallup or Ayuk. We've gotten that one a bunch, right? And I have him 25.6, which is so annoying.
That's why you're getting the question.
But I'm going to go Ayuk. It's gone to my head. I'm going to change my rankings, even with CeeDee Lamb out. I actually think that might hurt Gallup more than it helps him. Hawkinson or Fant. I'm going Noah Fant. Valdez Scantling. I'm going Patterson here. And then I'm going to go Pitts over the other 2. But Knox is really close. I do like
Valdez Scantling.
Yeah, Marquez Valdez. It's MBS right here. He's tuned into the show. Marcos Valdez Scantling. Cedric Wilson, Kadarius Toney, or Bateman. I'm going Bateman over the other 2 options. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Bulldog. Thankful for what you guys is rigidly droppable. I'm kind of. I don't know if he's ever going to. I don't think he's returning at any point. And last ditch effort, 5 minutes left. Hit us with that thumbs up. We really appreciate it, Wolfpack. Hurts or versus New York Giants. Or Cam versus Miami. I go Jalen Hurts, no doubt about it. A bunch of super chats came in right after that. Thanks again, Fancy Football, Bill Jagir, and Mohammed. If you want to jump the line, you're still welcome to throw a super chat to us. Happy Thanksgiving, Ben. No questions. Thanks just for showing up, and we really appreciate it. Darnell Mooney or Gallup. I'm going Mooney over Gallup. Just thankful CJ is not on today, making me feel inferior with his beauty. Ben always commented on like the shining face of CJ, and I fucking love it. It's awesome. Cooks or Ingram? Ingram's not playing. Kareem or Mooney? I'm going Mooney. Judy is out. What? Is that true? Jerry Judy's out? I have no idea. That seems crazy. Eckler, Swift, Mixon, Dillon. Pick 3. You're benching Dillon there. TJ or Goddard? You're going Goddard.
You've gotten that a couple times too.
Thank you, Kaiser. Full PPR. Lamb out. Kittle or Schultz. I'm going Kittle over Schultz. Gronk. And I go Miles Sanders over both of them in the flex. Gronk over Goddard. Gronk is my higher of the week. And on him, Evans, Mooney, Ayuk. Love it. Jacobs and Gallup on bench. I'm with you, Jay. I think it's a great play. Tony, you're a liar. Ben's a liar, you fucking lying sack of shit. I love you, Ben. Tony Jones or Alex Collins? I'm going Tony Jones all day over Alex Collins. Collins sucks. Thanks again, Bulldog. I know we answered that one for you, but we appreciate the super chat. Yep. Tony Jones or Bateman? I'm going Tony Jones over Bateman if I have the option at this point, now that we know Fat Shady, great name, that Ingram's out. Benny T, happy Turkey Day. Have a beer. No doubt about that. Oh, and you super chatted us. Thank you for that. Gallup, Ayuk, or Bateman? I'm mentioning Bateman there, Juke. Couldn't figure out how to put my comment. No problem at all. Thank you for the super chat.
Thanks for the chat, man.
Don't apologize. You supported the site. Really appreciate it, brother. John Curtis with Lamb out. Kittle, Schultz, flex 1 for Sanders. I think we just answered that. I'm going Kittle even with Lamb out, and I'm going Sanders. Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mike Clay. We hope you enjoy your day too. Lamb, John Curtis, sorry. First one of the show. Users going in timeout. I just had to get one in there. Jay Glazer, Mike Ingram will not play. Let's go. Indeed. Tony Jones. And as Roto Street Journal Fantasy Football has commented, what fantasy football site is that? Roto Street Journal.
Hey, I just picked Tony Jones off waivers right now.
Great move. I don't know how he should be 50% owned at this time. He's going to have 20 touches tonight. Whoever's sitting next to me will definitely be getting a contact. I love it. Danny Jennings, me as well. I hope my mom doesn't judge me too hard. We'll find out. Tony, I love you, Daddy. I got to go thank my wife. Go thank her for letting you always be here with us.
Yeah, no kidding.
You remember Denny's wife showed up when he got shot or whatever?
He got shot, and his wife commented and
I know
thanked
you
us.
haven't seen Denny in a few weeks, but he still loves you guys.
Yeah,
you're the best, Danny Jennings. We fucking love you. We're thankful for your wife.
And your wife. She's awesome, too.
She is the best to do that for us and for you. You're the man. Tony, Javonte, Freeman, sit 1. This is really tough because I have the Tony Javonte debate. Mike, if you're riding with me, I think I'm going to go Tony over Javonte. Truth, what are your thoughts on that one? I know we're at 12:30 now.
Yeah, but we got 4 questions left. It's no big deal. I mean, honestly, Tony Jones's stock seems to have gone up a lot throughout this podcast with Ingram being, put out and everything like that. I don't know. Freeman is intriguing, but man, I might lean Tony. It might just be because I want to see somebody play tonight that I got.
We only sit one of them. So who do you sit on this? Tony, Javonte?
I probably sit Javonte.
I think I do too. And I have Javonte. So Mike Clay, this is it. This is me giving the advice. I'll fall on the sword. I'm going to sit Javonte for Tony myself. Let's see how it fucking goes, baby. Glazer noted. Oh, this is kind of gross. Hodgepodge at running back with Ty Montgomery in the mix. Nobody likes a hodgepodge.
After I just picked up Tony Jones and dropped Sammy Watkins for him.
But who else is really talking about? I don't know. Now it gets a little ugly. Maybe we do play Javonte over Tony Jones. Hodgepodge definitely throwing me off the Tony Jones sense. And I'm not even saying that as an asshole. I actually that makes me a little worried. That Montgomery's been out for a few weeks. So
I mean, I feel like hodgepodge is even worse than running back by committee, even though it's basically the same thing.
Oh, if you say hodgepodge, I throw up and I never go near it. So yeah, I'm hodgepodge, not what I want to see. Loving the show. Thank you so much, Eduardo. New fan here. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, but also like and sub would be so appreciated. No, there's nothing on Judy yet. I don't know where that came from. Drop Jeff Wilson or Breida for Jones Jr.
Well, now I don't know. He's in this hodgepodge situation.
He's in a hodgepodge. If you're not starting any of them, I don't know it's worth it. If you need to start one, if it's one of those 3 to start, I do still think even in a hodgepodge, Jones Jr. would be the best start here. I'd probably drop Breida for them. Correlation between Tony Jones' stock throughout the show, number of beers. Very direct correlation.
Definitely.
Couldn't be a more direct correlation to beers during the show, beers before the show. His stock has gone up insanely high by the beer count.
Got through it.
I think we got to end on that one. We did. Somehow we do it every time, Truth. We got 50 questions. We rapid fire through it, and we get to kickoff. Fucking love it. Wolfpack, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you and your support. RoastedJournal.com is where you can find all our site and where you can have your wolf fed and bred. And Fantasy Fullback Dive if you prefer a podcast or want to support us in other ways. Thank you guys all so much. On your way out, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up, if you haven't already subbed and hit the bell, we will see you live Sunday, 11 a.m. I think that's all I got to promote. I'm the Wolf.
I'm the Truth.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Best day of the year. Let's win $1 million, Wolfpack. Let's have a fucking field day. We got another one? Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys rock. Thanks for taking. Of course, we're going to spend the time with you. Jimmy, it's like our pleasure. I know. Gives us kind of a way to get out of the kitchen for a little bit and help out. Like a good excuse to be doing something else. And again, how many times have I got this one? Ayuk or Gallup? This could be a make or break for the show this week. I still think Ayuk's better. Did you have a different opinion, Truth?
I told you I'm leaning towards Ayuk, which, several weeks ago I never thought I would say because he was like the worst wide receiver in football. But
I know, but he's back. He's back. The talent, believe.
I think he's back.
I think he's back too. We're going Ayuk. Here we go. Alrighty, Wolfpack. Best of luck. I need to go check on the turkey.
Yeah, let's go watch some football. If you can call Lions Bears football.
Hell yeah! What a game. Cheers, Wolfpack. Cheers to you, Truth. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Say Anna. Tell her I said happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody else out there. Best of luck. Let's go, Wolfpack. Week 12, baby. Cheers.
Later.